All right, James.
Yes, Jonathan.
Nice.
I know, had a little go.
Yeah.
It's turned into a little bit of a fashion off, isn't it?
It's a bit of a warm one, but it's going to be worth it.
Absolutely. How you
Going
been,
to be
Sam?
worth it. Yeah, I'm good. I've been really good. Welcome to FC Bullard. You are most welcome, whether you are joining us via the audios of Spotify,
or YouTube,
Apple Music, or watching us. You need to be watching us when we're having a go like this.
Yeah, we've had a little go of that clobber. A few listeners that ain't going to do a lot.
Nah.
Might hear us. Yeah. Might hear John.
Yeah, because that is loud. So today, it's we are interviewing someone for a role.
Yeah.
A role on FC Bullard. As you know, we're building a club from scratch. We are putting together a team. We are putting together backroom staff, an infrastructure of sorts. So today, Jim, this is something that's close to your heart because
I used to love them, didn't I?
You were a set piece specialist, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to love them. I used to love being involved with it. I used to practice them all the time. And I'm really looking forward to this guest. And he's also a big listener.
Yes, which is
and
great.
It's probably the first time we've had sort of a fan come listener on the show looking for a job, and that's what we're about as well. Do you get what I mean? Giving you an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good point.
Do you get what I mean? I quite
it's
like
a good
that.
Point. Yes, this gentleman is he's got a very specialist role. And
Yeah.
I wasn't even. Yes, did I know they existed? Now I'd heard of a set piece coach, but I had never heard of a set piece analyst.
What's positions?
Well, we're going to find out.
Okay, I've gone early.
Let's say a very good morning to our potential FC Bullard set piece analyst, Stuart Reid. Hello, Stuart.
Hi lads, cheers for having me.
Mate, thank you for coming in. Can we Reidy you off? Can we call you Reidy?
Go for it.
It's footy terms, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've gone early. Reidy boy, you're in.
So, right, a set piece analyst. Can you tell us everything we need to know about that role, what it is, where you do it, how you got it?
Wow, there's a lot of questions.
And I'm going to sit here and just have my brew and listen to you.
Cool. So to start off, what I do. So basically, I assist the coach who takes the set piece sessions. Like that might be an absolute dedicated set piece coach.
Yeah.
But more often than not, it's just like the assistant manager or assistant coach or something. I'll watch 10, 15 games of the opposition's set pieces, every corner they've taken, every corner they've faced, every free kick. Basically provide them with a report of where the opponent is strong, where they're weak, what we should be looking out for when they're attacking us.
Got you.
Their weaknesses in defence, aerial stats, and then basically sort of come up with a plan to then give to the coach to say, I think we should do this. Give them a couple of ideas for them then to take to the training pitch, speak to players, give all that information to players, and then see that on match day.
So you're not actually on the pitch.
No.
You're the right. Okay, you're the number.
I'm sitting at home.
Statutory. I'll get you. Okay.
But what I like about that is the fact that you're actually not only you're not just collating the information, you're then going, right, here's what we can do with that information. Because that becomes a very, very important part of the job,
absolutely.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. That's where I basically provide most of my value.
Yeah. Do you work on both attacking set pieces and defending set pieces?
Yeah. So typically, the coaches and the manager will have their own defined way of defending how they want to set up. So I don't really interfere with that.
Right.
I just provide them with, this could be a threat to us. They stick it to the back post and we've got no one covering that zone usually.
Okay.
So just trying to provide those
Okay.
those little details of stuff we need to be careful of, stuff I think we should tweak, but they ultimately have the final say.
Sorry to interrupt. So when you look at the opposition, you obviously look at your own team and you give them information on, like, I think we can gain with him, and him.
Yeah, so have to take into account the qualities we've got. Like, there's no point me recommending
That's what I was thinking.
A corner to the back stick when we've not got a player who can accurately like hit that zone reliably. Like, that's a waste of everyone's time. So have to factor in our aerial ability, the delivery and the strengths we've got, as well as comparing that to their sort of weaknesses, where I think we can get an advantage.
Just before we start getting into nitty gritty, where you been and who you work with?
So it's quite a long list because I've been.
I've been
freelance.
It's good that you have a long list.
So I work with multiple teams across a season. So I started off with.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, as long as they're not in the same league or can't play each other in the same competitions, then it's fine.
All right, and here's one for you. Say you're at West Ham and they come up against Walsall in the FA Cup, that you've worked for both of them. What's the script?
So I wouldn't take.
Have a week off.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take the second job if there's still a chance. Say like Walsall are still in the cup, there's still that chance. So I couldn't take that job. If Walsall were knocked out of both cups, then that's fine.
I thought all I can see is just going into their change room, going, look, I've got a 9 in the back stick. Going into him going, no, you don't want to chip it back stick. He's right egg on the back stick.
Get a 5 on a 0-0 because they're going to cancel each other out. I'm telling you.
Give me a pay rise. I'll tell you what they're doing on the second one. Right, okay. Go on then, give me your list.
Started in 17-18 with Leyton Orient.
Say that again?
17-18 season.
Wow, you've been at it about 300 years.
Oh.
It's older than Rob. And
I was like, BC.
It started in 17-18.
I was like, wowza, go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I've been around a while. It's 2017-18 season, Leyton Orient. Season after that, I was working for Millwall in the Championship. Season after that, I was working for... This is where I was working for a lot of teams that season. I worked for FC Groningen in the Netherlands.
Right, okay.
Luton in the Championship.
Yeah.
Forest Green Rovers in League 2. Casapia in the Portuguese second division. And a team called Sonderjyske in the Danish top division. Season after that, I became head of set pieces at like a multi-club group. There was a team in Italy, a team in Portugal, and a team in Denmark.
Wow.
I was there for 2 seasons.
When you say they're a multi-club group, what do you mean by that?
So, like, one owner owns multiple football teams.
Oh, right, gotcha. Okay.
And so, where was I?
Fucking creaming it, innit?
And then after that, I went freelance again, where I worked for Blackburn, Como, and Castellon. And I'm still with Como and Castellon now.
Wow.
Right, I didn't know that. You pulled off a heavy-duty few names there.
Yeah,
resume.
So, is there many of yous about?
There's a few of us. There's not many freelancers. Most are internal at clubs. Not many working for multiple teams.
Do you want it to stay that way, really, I suppose? Yeah?
It's good for me, yeah.
Do people approach you, or do you reach out to them, or is it a bit of both?
It's a bit of a mix. At the moment, both teams I'm working for at the moment reached out to me, but often I'll have a sort of browse through the stats, see if a team's really struggling from set piece. It could look at where they are in the league, whether it could make a massive difference to them in staying up, hitting Europe, or along those lines, and then reaching out to
It's really exciting me, Nate. You named some big clubs there, so I'm like,
I'm going to go a little bit nerdy, Jim, and you'll go with me on this, because as someone who throughout their career, my previous career, had to look through a lot of football, watched a lot of games, angles, looking for various things. Can you just...
you was looking for showboats, weren't you?
I was looking for anything, mate. I was like, anything. Just give me some...
third eyes,
Give me the content. Could you just talk me through, just indulge me a little bit, your setup? So... Let's say, going to give you a scenario, there's a game. Let's say Blackburn are playing Preston this weekend. I don't know why I've picked those two teams, but Blackburn are playing Preston this weekend.
Which is round as West Ham Walsall.
Tell me what you're looking at, how you're looking at it, how you're making your notes, how long you do it for with a break, and when you have your little break, what do you have? Do you have a little brew or what? Just talk me through that, because I like that. I want to get an image of it.
So I start off with looking at their defensive setup from corners, the opponent's defensive setup.
Where are you watching this?
Oh, all at home.
All at home.
All at home. Sitting there with my multiple screens.
Right. Okay.
My cat next to me.
This is what I'm saying. So you've got your multiple screens, right?
Yep.
So what, like a sort of, is it like a bit of a VAR setup you've got? How many screens have you got?
2.
Okay, it's not multiple, it's 2. All right, let's have it right. You know what I mean? Look, let's not over-egg it, pal. If it's, because you'll get found out. You get found out, and
money.
So you've got
brilliant.
2 screens. All right, we've all got 2 screens. I mean, let's face it. Okay, so the angles. In all seriousness, now the angles that you're looking at, do you get those supplied by from the Premier League or from the Championship or from the club?
There's a program called Y Scout where it basically has every game from every league imaginable in the world. So just look at that, and you can click, like, say, Blackburn attacking corners, and then it puts every corner they've taken in a nice big playlist for you, 10 seconds, 15 seconds long.
So you don't have to crack it down.
So I don't need to
edit yourself.
do what I imagine you used to have to do back in the day, fast forward through all the games and stuff to reach the set pieces.
Okay.
So it's all like that, really.
That's brilliant. And do you have to be?
That saves us a few quid in man hours, wouldn't it?
Just a bit. Seriously, wow. Probably still have a gig there. So can anyone register for that, or do you have to be qualified to
anyone
to
can
get
register, but it is quite pricey.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can we
go on?
Can we thousands?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
To get that
big thousands or small thousands? Or
is it double figures or singles?
Yeah, double figures.
High doubles?
Low doubles.
Okay.
Right, okay, that's all we need to know.
But
okay. All right, well, that's good. I think there'd be a few footy nerds try and get on there, because we have a lot of footy, what I call, love that tech, that insight. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So is that available for anyone, that?
You can reach out to them and they'll hook you up with an account. But
Can give you any game?
It is quite pricey. What's that?
Yeah, I can give you any game. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was available. Wow,
yeah, it's crazy. So you can click on, like, Messi shots, and then all of a sudden you've got every shot Messi's
when you say
taken.
every game, you mean every game?
Oh, you could watch, like, second division Vietnam, like,
wow,
literally everything.
Do you see stuff and you get really excited because you go, oh, I see a pattern emerging here. I'm seeing something there that you go, that's a bit of gold dust for the coach. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, all the time. So I look for trends, really, like, do they concede shots in a certain zone all the time? If they do, why they concede them? Like, is there a zonal marker in that space who's crap aerially? Like,
yes.
Is it just there's a big space to attack and maybe man markers aren't up to scratch? Or so just really trying to nail down on the trends, the patterns, and anything that we can use.
Stats. You still got to understand the game, because you're going off
visual.
Absolutely,
right? I have to watch a video as well. You can't just rely on the stats.
Because do you know what come into my head when what's that film? Is it Moneyball?
Moneyball, yeah.
This reminds me of Moneyball.
Well, there's elements, I suppose, isn't there?
There is elements to it, yeah. So my next question was, could you take me through the last clip you done that really made a difference, and what did you change?
I can't really speak too much about the work I'm doing with
Don't have to name me the club.
Yeah.
Don't have to name me the club. Just a scenario, what you changed and what you identified to maybe make them score a goal or make that chance a lot easier in the box from a set play or whatever.
So there was one recently where they defended with sort of 3 zonal markers, one sort of front stick, 2 sort of central, and identified that the front zonal marker isn't that hot in the air, but the guy behind him
in the air, the front one, right? Okay.
But the next zonal marker is really aggressive, really, really strong. So it's just like, how do we try to isolate that weak aerially guy? So we put a sort of player in front of that zonal marker, basically to stop him from blocker, just to stop him from attacking that sort of space and that where we wanted to stick the ball, and then sort of have multiple runs from our sort of target men from different angles to just try to overload that that poor guy that we decided to pick on.
So that front area, you're trying to overload that front area.
Yeah, and that stuck out from the data. They conceded loads of shots there. We knew from the stats that this guy wasn't great aerially. And we knew that if we could get that delivery right, which we knew our taker could reliably hit that zone. If he hit it on the day with our two big lads running in, that poor guy we decided to pick on wouldn't stand a chance. We ended up winning the first contact. Ball went back post and got the goal.
Okay, yeah. And
right, just from the flick on.
Yeah.
Right, okay, you worried me there. We was working all on front set, and it's gone back to the outside.
Reversal.
We've done yous all.
We've done them all, yeah.
But okay, so you talked about that defensively. Do you then go to the gaffer, because you mentioned two big lads for you, do you then go to the gaffer and say, I think our two big lads coming in should be them and them, or do you not divulge that deep into it?
When I'm not usually privy to the starting lineups, because I also have the pre-match meetings with the staff like Monday, Tuesday, they might not even know the starting 11s then.
Yeah.
So usually I just put player A, player B, and then they can work out who
they want going in. That's fair enough. I get you. I just, because there's a crossover there, isn't there? And where does your line stop? And it stops with, so it doesn't get personal what player you go in. You might every now and then, if it's a kick taker, what you said, but it's important for us to know that.
Yeah, I'll say like player A, target man, so they know needs to be someone who's decent with their head and stuff.
It's almost more important that the opposition's lineup stays similar to what you've seen, doesn't it? Because then that does kind of like throw a spanner in the works if that guy at the front post is a different player.
Yeah, that's exactly. Where your videos kick in though, right? Because if you look last 3 games, you're more or less certain they're going to do it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I think in football that we might see change in the future. Like basically teams will never change from game to game how they defend. And I think that's crazy. That makes very little sense. Like, there was a team I was working for a few years back, and in the league, then everyone defended with 2 zonal markers, 1 front stick, 1 central. And we had absolute mammoth of a centre-back, man mountain. Once he got started, you ain't stopping him. And every single game, we just put the ball chipped to the back stick. Yeah. He would always win it. And I think he got 6 goals, 4 assists from centre-back that season. Like, good return.
Good numbers,
and no one adjusted to adapt to it. Like, if you put your biggest lad back stick as a zonal marker, then at least you've got a sort of 50-50.
And you think you would have spotted that if they had an analyst for their team?
I'm sure they would have spotted it, because it was such a strength of our team. So
why didn't they adjust then?
It's just, it could be lack of training time, because you don't get much time on the pitch. Like, curious, like when you were playing, like how much time would managers give you on set pieces in the week? Were any managers like super hot on it?
It's weird, because when I first knew you was coming in, my brain automatically went, how much work did we do at Wigan? We done quite a bit on it, but towards the end of the week when you're just slowing down, Fridays would be big set piece sort of day, maybe Thursday as well. Didn't do too much, you're right. It wasn't like an overload of that. Julie would like Fridays to run through like corners and set plays. But as you say, we'd stick to basic principles and they wouldn't change too much. Then Hutch, the assistant, would come in, Chris Hutchins, and he would come in and just work for a few, try this, try that. Do you get what I mean? But we had no one like yourself. I just think, I love all this, see. I just think I missed out on all this. It just wasn't available. I don't think your job was available. I'm quite intrigued. When did the first analysis, when did the first analysis come out? When was it? Like, was you the first ever one?
I don't think so, but it wasn't around long before I got started.
So when did you start?
So 17, 18 was my first job in football.
I was gone by then. I was finished.
Yeah.
Every time he says 17, 18, I imagine him turning up to work in like chainmail, drinking a pint of mead.
Oh, it's so funny.
Can you put portcullis? Got to plug my computer in.
So here's a good question. When you go into the clubs, do they see the videos you see, or some of them? I suppose some gaffers choose not to, or some gaffers buy into it more than others, right?
Yeah, so I'll clip up like principles. So like, if they've conceded a bunch of shots, say near post or something, I'll basically build a little compilation of all of those chances and say, look at all of these. Like, we have to hit this area. And then I'll come up with the idea and I'll send them a link to or a video of a team doing something a bit similar to what I've recommended.
Got you.
And be like, this is a good example
of
what I think we should do.
Do you put like a voice note on it? So going, as you can see, this corner here, player A is he's really not. He's not up to it. In fact, he's bang average. You know, obviously not that. But do you put a bit of? Do you put a?
No, I usually go through it on sort of like, because I meet with the teams every week to go through my reports, like just over Zoom or whatever. So then I show them the videos like on that call then and talk them through it.
Put a bit of music on there, like, you know, like make a bit of a montage.
Yeah, a little bit of like elevator music.
Yeah. If you did sign for us, could you do that for us?
Oh, absolutely.
We'd like a voiceover.
A
bit of a moody one, yes. Well, I think the left back here.
This is a sort of job I would love to do this job.
You would love that.
I really would love to do this job. So I'm not sure you're going to get it because I might.
The director of football's moved on.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Multi-role.
What's the best feedback you've had? Where like we've had some, something's come to fruition from one of the coaches or the managers. Do they
multiple
ever come
promotions?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. With some dramatic like upturns in set piece performance that's contributed heavily.
But in terms of the feedback from individuals, it's like
the coaches say
appreciate
it makes a massive difference. And whenever we've scored on the weekend, all the coaches are usually very congratulating.
So with the view, sorry to pep you.
That's all right. Go for it.
We're just really intrigued. Yeah, is there a team that you've identified in world football? Because you said you've got all that, but let's say Premier League. Let's keep it simple. Do you watch Premier League games?
Yeah.
Do you watch the analytics? Do you get all that? Do you go in depth in the Premier League?
I don't watch as much Premier League now as I used to because most weekends I'm watching my teams play. And I support a team as well, and we're Championship, so I watch a lot of Championship more than
even
Premier League,
with your naked eye then,
have
you identified a team that are unbelievable at set plays, and who are they?
There's a
Would
couple,
you say some of the best in
there's
the
a couple in the Premier League, like Arsenal are superb.
Really?
Like they're amazing. They don't change too much from week to week in what they actually do, but they're just so consistent.
Have you identified anything what they do? Why are they so good or not really?
So they basically stick a bunch of players in the 6-yard. I mean, this is really simplifying what they do, but they stick a bunch of players in the 6-yard area, and a lot of teams in the Premier League now defend really sort of zonally. And so they'll have players starting towards the back of the 6-yard area.
I've seen them line up at the back.
Yeah, and then they just swarm forward. And they've got good delivery because they've got number of good players to take that. Rice, Saka, etc. All great delivery. They got good players in the air in Saliba, Gabriel, etc. And it's so hard if you're defending zonally. You've basically got to be facing the ball because you need to know.
A big, powerful outfit, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because Cara touched on it, saying how they were very similar to a Jose team.
Right.
And how big and how good they are in both boxes. And I never spotted that before. And I was like, do you know what? He's got a good point. And he spotted like how they're quite similar to a Chelsea team. It switched my mind. I had them down as a bit of a second Pep team because he's been under him. But do you know what? When you actually watch them, they're more dynamic. They're bigger. They're more aggressive than a lot of teams in our league. Do you get in the Premier League? And I'm like, hang on, he's got a bit of a point there.
Yeah,
I can see it.
For the past couple of seasons, they've scored like the most set-piece goals in the Prem and created the most chances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brentford are also really hot on those details.
Brentford,
that's something that runs through their club. Like every year they have a set piece coach, and every year he gets pinched by someone.
Do they have a set? I'm going to stop saying analyst because I can't say it. A number crunching guy. Do they have one of you at their club? Do you know?
Yeah, and they've got a set piece coach as well.
Right.
So they've
got
gone for the double whammy.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, those finer details, like they even extend to kickoffs at Brentford. Like it's been, like they've scored a number of goals in like the first couple of minutes of the season, and if you score after 2 minutes or whatever, that's massive bonus.
Yeah. Brentford went a little run where they scored in the first minute.
Yeah, in like 3 games in a row or something.
FC Bullard is brought to you by Lost Lager.
Lost Lager. I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Whoa. It's the perfect pint for the perfect pod. Christmas round the corner, John Boy. It's a time for socialising, isn't it? Paint me a picture of your ideal pint during the holidays.
Well, obviously, it's Lost Lager.
Obviously.
Bet you've had some mad Christmas deals, haven't you, Jimmy, any time?
Absolutely, but we're saving stories for another time, eh?
Yeah. Do you know what I love, though, Bully? I love the build-up to Christmas, where everybody's out, and they're all having a good time, and they're dressed up in their silly jumpers and their daft hats, and everyone's just in a good mood.
Do you know where'd be perfect for anyone organising a Christmas do? Brewdog Bar.
Great shout, Bully. Whether it's long overdue catch-ups with your mates or that Christmas party that eventually turns into chaos, book your festive celebration today and they'll take care of the rest.
With bars and pubs located up and down the country, there's a Brewdog near you with unbelievable food menus for a great Christmas night out.
You can even pre-order your beer, wine and Prosecco so it's ready and waiting for you before you arrive. And you know what that includes?
Lost Lager?
Brewdog's quality lager.
Lost Lager and FC Bullard. You could say...
the perfect pint for the perfect pod. Get in there.
Go to brewdog.com/FC-Bullard for a special offer on Lost Lager. You know when you've done your work, it's all put into the gaff, you feel like you've had a thing. Do you watch the games?
Oh yeah.
And so when they score, you like...
Often I shear it around my living room, just like one arm up in the air.
Shear it? Oh, you absolute dry lunch, you.
Shirts off.
It's
over his head.
brilliant.
High fiving his cat.
Right, okay.
What's your cat called?
Nova.
Nova.
Yeah.
How did you know he had a cat?
He told me.
I said it earlier.
When he tried to big up his 2 screens. His multi-screens. You got one cat though, haven't you?
Yeah, one cat.
Right.
One cat.
We're having a good time.
So do you actually watch all the games indoors? Do you ever go and watch them?
Yeah, sometimes I get invited out to clubs, like usually once a year or so. I'll go meet the coaches in person, go to the training ground, and then often a game as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, most of the time.
I love it.
It's just sitting at home like I'm playing FIFA or Football Manager.
Be honest, it's a great little gig, isn't it?
It's not bad. Best job in the world, I say. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I quite like it.
Would there be a scenario where if a big club came in for you and took you away from the freelance world, and took you under their roof, would you consider that?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely something I want to do in the future. Yeah, for sure.
Gives you more time, don't it, to get real deep nitty gritty into it, work alongside a manager, assistant. Do you get what I mean? And pull you in. I suppose that would be the dream job.
Well, that's kind of what you're doing here today, isn't it? You're sort of really applying for that.
Yeah.
How do you think the interview's going so far, Stuart?
Good.
Yeah. Do you think you're performing well? Do you think you're doing okay?
I love it.
Hope so.
Yeah. Well, I think okay. Well, we'll be the judges of that, won't we? A little bit later on. But what I'd like to do now is I'd like to just a little bit of role play, a little bit of scenario, where we'd like to let's say we're the coaches. I mean, I am the director of football. This is the president of FC Bullard. We've got a big game this weekend, and I'm hopefully hoping in a hopeful way that you've identified a couple of maybe areas of weakness of the opposition or something we can maybe tap into. Would you like to just run through that for us?
I like it.
Yeah, so to start off with, I'll look at how they set up. So if we look at, say, we've got an attacking corner. So look at last 5 games or so, see how many zonal markers they have, where they're positioned, who they are. Then I'll look through the video and the data to see where they've sort of conceded shots from. Is there any patterns, any zones where they regularly give up first contacts or shots from? Then I sort of look at the aerial ability within the squad, and I've got a little something on this now for you guys.
Okay, great.
So this was something I made looking at like the Euro final So this is how Spain's set up.
Oh, good.
So you can see that like their zonal markers, they defend with sort of 3 in the sort of 6-yard area, 1 on the edge and sort of one short. And underneath that, you can see I've got a thing called hops. This is a new metric that's come out in the last couple of years for evaluating how good someone is in the air. Like traditionally, you'd look at sort of like aerial win percentage, like how often do they win their aerial duels. But if I was to say, Jim, you had 10 aerial duels this season, you'd won 7 of them, so that's 70%.
That gives you that. Does it give
But if all of those aerial duels were against Lionel Messi, doesn't really mean much. But if you'd won all of those aerial duels against Harry Maguire, for instance, that would mean you'd be pretty good in the air.
Wow.
So what this does is it measures
Jesus, that's detailed.
who each aerial duel was against to give that player a score across their entire career.
So is this true to fact, this?
So I always show a list of our squad to every club I go into with this ranking and say, would you agree with this to the coaches? Like, this is a list of our squad and how good everyone is in the air. And everyone has said, I'd agree with that.
So these stats here, is this true to fact?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can use this to sort of find out where each team is weak. So, for instance, if you look at the Spain zonal markers, you've got Laporte in the middle with a ranking of 69. 50 means you're bang average in the air.
Anything above that, you're pretty.
So anything above
69 is decent, right?
Yeah, anything above, I'd say 60 is good.
Right. Okay. So you've got. Go on. Talk me through this.
So the front post zonal marker, Dani Olmo, the number 10, he's got a ranking of 42. So he's not that great in the air. But right next to him, you've got Morata with 62. So
that's why they've got him on front stick,
yeah,
right?
he's pretty decent.
Yeah, 62.
But
69.
if you look at their man markers, you've got Rodri with 73. So he's pretty good in the air, pretty decent. And I can't even say his name. Lenormand with 71. So he's pretty good. But the rest of them are all average or below. So if I was approaching this from England, you'd say Stones would be picked up by one of those tall guys, and then probably either Gui or Walker would probably take the second one. But then after that, you've got a bit of a mismatch with their sort of aerial ability and our aerial ability. So maybe we don't use Stones or Gui as the main target men. We use one of those third or fourth, like Kane or Walker, or
almost take everyone else out of the equation.
Exactly, just to try to take advantage of that sort of mismatch.
Wow, I quite like looking at that.
That's brilliant.
You look at them as a number, how good they actually are, instead of the actual person. I've started looking at that.
And hops, can you explain that to me?
So yeah, that's the metric. I can't remember what it's called. It's called something ridiculous, like header orientated performance system, or something crazy.
That'll do for me.
But yeah, and you can use this to look at your own team as well. So for instance, if I was looking at this as a Spaniard, you can see that on the edge of the penalty area, they've got Fabian Ruiz, the number 8. He's got a ranking of 48. But you've got Nico Williams, then number 17, as a man marker with a rating of 38. Now, Fabian Ruiz is 6'2", Nico Williams is 5'11". So why have they got worse man marker? Why have they got worse aerial guy as a man marker when they've got a better aerial guy on the edge? Especially when you consider Nico Williams is rapid. So if you were to have him on the edge, you could use him as a counter-attacking threat. So you can use this in a sort of variety of different ways to.
And I suppose you can reach the things, because you would say, well, you're saying why would you have him on the edge? But I'd be going, but why would you have him on the edge? So is there a reason that they have got him there as opposed to it being a mistake almost?
Yeah. So you can delve into data and video to try and work out why they've got him there.
And
maybe it's reading in the game to read out a short or something similar. And
I suppose you can do this for every element of the game. So for tackling, for I suppose, obviously for everything else. I'm just trying to think, because this is it's quite specialist, isn't it? In terms of because it's
there's so much data in football now. Like,
I've never seen it like this.
Crazy how
I'll be honest, I've never seen it broke down like this for a set play.
So that's basically like.
And how good?
England. Go on.
I was really intrigued at how you can measure up how good they are, depending on who they're coming up against, because that's really important what you said.
Yes. So I don't build this. This is from a data company.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's beyond my level of intelligence, but
it's amazing how they get it and how they get it correct on every. Would that be? Is this just taken on set plays, or would this be taken on open play and how good you are going up
every
against?
aerial duels? Yeah.
Okay.
Some players, there'll be over 1,000 aerial duels measured, so that ranking is pretty accurate because they've just faced so many aerial duels against all sorts of different players, and so it really hones down the sort of accuracy and the detail.
Like, in my head, I don't know about you, but Walker doesn't, like, him to be 0.68. He's
that was a surprise to me as well.
Highest as well. Do you get what I mean? You have him down as a quick fullback. You don't realise how so athletic that man is. He's so good. And then I see that stat and I was like, oh, that's surprising. But then I'll go back in the game. He very rarely loses aerial duels. Very rarely. He's got such a spring on him. He's so strong.
Yeah, it's not something you'd usually associate with his skill set.
Until you really strip back. That was surprising. Stones, you know, but 0.76 is serious, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's serious. That's really good. I like it. I love that.
Excellent.
I love the detail. I'd be in. Do you know what? You'd expect Bellingham to be higher, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Is that because of attacking mind as well? You need that to be a good defender. Well, saying that, it's in both boxes.
Defend both, isn't it? Yeah.
I would say he would have been higher, 0.53. I would have. And Kane, to be fair. 0.59, higher than Kane and Bellingham. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, some of the stuff you have to read in a little bit. So, like, Kane as an attacker will be facing slightly harder aerial duels than some of the more defensive players. So you have to read into that a little bit.
Absolutely. Further you come down the order, Shaw wouldn't be up against your monsters. Yeah, I get you.
And you and you're a centre-half, less so now, but a centre-half like John Stones growing up would have headed a lot more balls and would have... grooved his skill, his 10,000 hours in terms of doing it and doing it. So he becomes an expert at that thing.
And there's some levels of detail as well that can't be sort of picked up. Like, some players are tall and are good in the air, but only really once it's stuck on them. Whereas other players will be absolutely aggressive and peg it to get on the end of something.
Peg it.
Where
love that. Peg it.
So there's elements that can't be picked up in that, but that's where you have to use your eyes and watch the video and know your players and stuff.
This episode of FC Bullard is brought to you by Sky Bet.
Christmas is almost here, Bully. Plenty of presents to be bought. More importantly, plenty of football to be played.
Absolutely, John Boy, but that's not all. Tell them all about the Super 6 Christmas rollover.
Every Saturday until Christmas, our friends at Super 6 are rolling over their £250,000 jackpot each weekend if it isn't won. So it could reach a whopping £1 million by the 21st of December.
£1 million?
£1 million.
That'd be a nice early Christmas present, John Boy, wouldn't it?
How are you predicting results and scores, Jim?
Unbelievable, Jeff. I'm not going to lie, one of the best out there.
Do you want to tell everyone what to do?
John Boy, it's nice and easy. Head over to the Super 6 app, enter your 6 predictions, and the money could be yours.
Not only that, Jim, Sky Bet have created a bespoke Super 6 competition especially for FC Bullard listeners. Entrants have the chance to win £100 worth of vouchers for classicfootballshirts.co.uk. Get yourselves involved.
So get on this, the mini code is FC Ball. Check the episode description for the info.
18 plus, T's and C's apply. BeGambleAware.org. And remember, as always, please gamble responsibly. We're seeing a trend where set piece coaches we didn't really know who they were or what they looked like, and didn't really know they existed with Jim. But now
It's trendy now.
they're becoming more prominent. We're getting to see them. We're seeing broadcasters cutting them up when a goal's scored and high-fiving and, you know, getting the champagne out and all that stuff. So in your experience, what are set-piece coaches like to work with?
So yeah, all the ones I've worked with are fantastic. The ones in the Premier League, they tend to be pretty secretive naturally, because you don't want to be breaking down like your secrets and giving away sort of what you're doing really. But yeah, it's become almost a game in its own right, almost. Like, teams all desperately trying to get the best set piece coaches so they can gain an advantage from set pieces, because it used to be like the underdogs, the relegation battling teams who would focus on set pieces just to try and nick points where they can. But these days the big teams want to nick points where they can and get any edge they can. So
it's almost built up, isn't it,
so it's become its own game almost now. Like game within a game.
I get you.
But behind every good set piece coach is an even better set piece analyst. Am I right?
Hopefully, yeah.
No, I love it. Yeah, look, mate, I think it's brilliant. I think the interview went brilliant. I think your class, you know your stats, you know what you're looking for. We would love nothing more than you to come on FC Bullard when we finally get on pitch side and we have them games, for you to give as much input to the team as possible if you're available. And whereabouts you are in the world at that time, but we'd love to give you the opportunity to come and work with us.
Sounds awesome. I mean, yeah.
Congratulations.
You're a legend.
Let's sign.
Congrats, Reidy.
Welcome
You
aboard.
absolute boy.
Read a dog.
I loved it. Do you know what? It just gives you like an insight. We can all relax now.
You got the gig.
Give you an insight, like, and by the way, this job, your role is definitely growing in the game. Innit? This is like, it's in 10 years down the line. I suspect every team's going to have one of you.
Yeah.
Or you might be working for 2 or 3 teams. You get what I mean? I loved it, Reidy.
Awesome.
All the
Top
best.
man.
Cheers for having
Welcome aboard.
Can't wait to see you pitch side.
me. Cheers.
I think Reidy's a great addition, Jim.
I do, matey. You loved it, didn't you?
I enjoyed it. 3 reasons why I enjoyed it. Probably more, but the 3. He is a listener.
Yes.
He's a fan of FC Bullard. He said he'd watched everyone on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he applied for the role independently. B, it was so interesting.
Yeah.
It was so interesting, and
It's a bit of a minefield sometime, and the analytics behind it. But when he broke it down and showed me that graph, I was really interested.
And C, no, I think it's just A and B. So it's just A and B. We're going with A and B.
We're going with A and B.
He's I think I'm going to overlook the bit of sort of the line at the beginning of the interview.
Yeah,
with
you
the
were.
Screens.
You pulled him up on that.
Well, you know, what's
Multi-screen's more than 2.
It's yeah. I'm thinking VAR. I'm thinking he's sat
thinking
there.
he's, like,
He's got like
fully
a big
fingered
panel
up.
of screens.
Yeah, but yeah,
like
2.
mission control. We've all got 2, haven't we? We've all got a TV and an iPad on the go, and a phone as well sometimes.
True.
So we might be have more tech than him.
Yeah.
But he pulled it back, and he's a very, very welcome addition.
Absolutely.
I
loved it.
Set piece analyst. Great. Now we just need a player. We need a set piece. That's probably what we need next. A set piece specialist. A player.
Do you know what? It's a good shout.
player.
That. Okay. What whips it in like?
Whips it.
I've got one.
Delivers.
I've got one in mind.
Go on. Let's see if I can tune in to you. Right.
It bring
hang
more
on.
to the party than just that.
Hang on
as
though.
well.
Is he? Will I know who he is? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Hang on.
You know who he is.
Hang on.
You should know straight.
Here we
off.
go. We're gonna go through. Gonna go 3, 2, 1. Right. Ready?
Second name or first name?
Surname. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Murphy.
Bentley.
Oh, sorry, Danny. Sorry, David. Sorry, Danny.
But to be fair, Danny has more penalties.
That's pens. That's all right.
You want in?
Okay, no. This is how we reverse this and save face. How I save face.
Yeah. Okay.
When we get to pens, we get Danny in. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other bits, the free kicks, the whippy dippies, corners,
Bents.
etc.
Like-
Bentos. Yeah.
Murph, I'll be glad to say Murph didn't have the whipper dipper like Bent.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. probably the best free kick taker I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Bent's like ridiculous, but a great guest to have in. So we're going to work on Bent and Murph. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, both gonna add to the squad.
Good players as well.
Yeah, got away with that, didn't we?
Yeah, just.
Oh, and
Go on.
16th of December.
Oh yeah, tickets still available. Not a lot left, by the way.
No,
we're pretty much flying.
They are going like hotcakes.
At the Vaudeville Theatre in London,
West
16th. Is on a Monday, but it's by Christmas. Everyone's a winner. Get your tickets.
FC Bullard live at the Vaudeville Theatre, courtesy of Lost Lager. Thank you very much indeed, Lost Lager, for your support. Okay, well, this has been a lot of fun, and never know how to end these.
Well, just say, see you next Tuesday.
All right? I don't need to, you just did.
Oh, yeah. See you next Tuesday.